Welcome back, everyone. When it comes to wellness, many of us are looking for the most effective and medically advanced treatment options available. And some of the doctors at the forefront of stem cell treatment are Dr. Louis Obi. He is the medical director of Pangenics Regenerative Center. Thank you so much for being here, Dr. Obi.
Thank you for inviting me, Charlene.
So let's talk about what is Pangenics Regenerative Center and how did it evolve?
Okay, you asked me before the interview, how did the term Pangenics come about? I thought of it as Peter Pan never gets old, Pangenics regenerate, so that's how we named our new center. But it's an IRB-based stem cell provider, which is kind of unique because we include all the different specialties under one roof, and we're based in my licensed plastic surgery center in Jacksonville.
And can you tell us the role that stem cells are playing these days? It's kind of everybody's talking about stem cells. So can you break it down for folks and also talk about what are the sources where your stem cells are coming from?
First of all, at our center, we have all the specialties, including plastic surgery, orthopedics, pain management, and internal medicine, represented by the leading board certified specialists. And the dictum, don't operate, don't medicate, but regenerate is the basis of the frontier of medicine, and that's in the stem cell field.
Getting your body to heal itself.
Heal itself, exactly, and without invasive procedures. Basically, stem cells are cells that are undifferentiated. They don't know what they want to be when they grow up. They're mononucleated cells. Our body contains about 306 trillion stem cells when we're born. Most of them are located around the fatty cells. So stem cells are cells that are undifferentiated. They can replicate, they can differentiate in different cell types. And there are four basic types in medicine. Embryonic sources we don't use because of the ethical issues and other issues. Most commonly we use stem cells either from bone marrow or fat. And more recently, providers have been using cord cells. Cord cells are from the C-sections from the placenta. Unfortunately, in the United States, cord cells have to be sterilized, usually by radiation, so there are no live cells available. So that's not a good source. Bone marrow has a very small numbers of stem cells, and it's very invasive to harvest bone marrow, so we basically use fat. Fat cells contain the largest number of stem cells.
And now you mentioned a little bit in pain relief, but how are you using stem cells in plastic surgery specifically? Because you mentioned Pangenics, Peter Pan, you look young forever, so I have to ask that.
Well, unknowingly, over 30 years ago, I started using stem cells in my plastic surgery practice, primarily in the face where the procedures I use have evolved into what we refer to as the opera lift, which I'm published on.
She looks amazing.
Yeah, this is all non-surgical. It's a combination of it's like a 3D stem cell facelift and combined with lasers and PRP. But I started doing this type of procedure 30 years ago. And also in plastic surgery, I used it in hand surgery. I'm a hand surgeon also. And as a hand surgeon, I was using fat grafting to replace lost tissues. And then I encountered results that I didn't expect, like regeneration of nerves, fat cells, muscle cells, and I didn't know where this was coming from. And more recently, we realized the fat's the best source of stem cells.
So there are a number of companies and organizations and facilities that work with stem cells. So what makes your facility, PRC, if I can call it that, so different than other providers?
First of all, I have 30 years of experience. I'm based in a licensed center, both state and federal licensed. We're an IRB-based institutional review board. We have a database of 8,500 patients that studies safety and efficacy. And most of the other providers don't go through all these degrees of due care. And also they use off-the-shelf cells like cord cells, which have no live cells. So most of the other providers don't do everything that we do, and I think it's important to know what is done by these providers before you have them treat you.
And so many are just starting out with this technology, and you've been doing it so long. You do have a symposium coming up where folks can learn more about it. Can you share a little bit of information about what you'll be doing at that?
This is our 6th patient educational symposium. It'll be held at the Deerwood Country Club on Thursday, this next Thursday, July 26th. And there's very limited seating, so you have to call for a reservation.
And what can they learn there? Do they have the opportunity to ask questions and see more amazing pictures like you just showed?
Yeah, presentation by Dr. Heekin, an orthopedic surgeon, Dr. Kenneth Eady, and Dr. Orlando Floridi, and myself and we will share our sites and what we do and how it applies to different situations.
Well, Dr. Obi, thank you so much for coming on and talking about this technology. I know everyone is interested in trying to do something less invasive and really trying to get the body to heal itself and look like that woman that you had the picture of. Thank you so much. And again, the symposium is July 26th. As you heard, it will be at the Deerwood Country Club. You can register or get more information by calling 904-399-0905, or, this is important, visiting stemcellsurgeryflorida.com, and then you can peruse through that information. And if you are interested, as you heard Dr. Obi say, seating is limited, so jump on this quickly. All right, so